What's up, everybody, and welcome to the TNR Sports Show. The TNR Sports Show. Am I recording? I am. I get a little paranoid sometimes, people. That's how it goes with the TNR Sports Show. I'm sporadic. I don't know what's going on half the time. I'm just moving and grooving, you know what I mean? Especially after last week's debacle, Arkansas losing to Georgia in a complete blowout. I've been depressed. I've been upset. I said it didn't affect me, but it affected me heavily. My soul has been heavy. Do you understand what I'm saying, Ryan?
I understand. That's feeling
Ryan,
that.
do you think your soul will be heavy this upcoming weekend?
We'll get into that in a little bit. But
A little curve there for you.
we'll
Before we
say that for
start,
later.
yeah, right.
Keep watching.
Before we get to anything, I just want to say thank you for liking, watching, subscribing, doing all what you do. I appreciate it. You're a great audience, a great listeners. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. With Facebook being down the other day, it really hurted us promoting the podcast. So screw you, Mark Zuckerberg. I'm trying to make a living here. Or I'm trying to start to make a living. And you're really hurting my chances here as I'm covering sports.
We're doing our best.
We are. We are. So we're covering week 6 of college football. We got week 6 coming up. Ryan, are you excited for week 6?
Very excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
There is some big games involving our teams.
Yeah.
Clemson is off.
Clemson's off.
So the spotlight belongs to Arkansas again. I will point out that college game day this past Saturday and the Arkansas-Georgia game, it was the most viewed college football game of the entire year. It was the most viewed college game day of the entire year. Wow. So shout out to Arkansas. You know, they say a lot of things can come from bad things, like good things, you know. Arkansas, get on that national stage. Get those recruits in there. Prove to them that they belong at the University of Arkansas. Now, it probably helps Georgia in recruiting a lot too, but that's beside the point. We don't have to play them again in a couple of years. Oh, my God. So I just want to shout out how great the Arkansas Razorback program is. I'm not going to go too much of a rant. I am a man of honor today, repping the third best team in South Carolina. I've officially declared South Carolina the third best team in South Carolina. So I might put Presbyterian over them, though.
They're awful.
Well, there's something. There's something. That's for certain.
Something. Yeah.
I know. Well, you know, that's how it goes sometimes when you run funky things. You do funky things. You know? All right, let's get started so I don't get distracted anymore. But like I said, thanks for liking, subscribing. Shout out to all of you people out there in the world. All right, first game, week 6. Can't believe it's already week 6. That's depressing. You want to know what's actually depressing? That's depressing. Oh my God, it's already October 6th. Before you know it, it'll be Halloween and then Thanksgiving. Oh my God, that's terrible. This is awful. Football season's almost over. I need to stop. I'm going to start crying. It's almost over, people. It's done. We're going to be in the cold of winter. It's going to be February. There's going to be no football.
Before Enjoy you know it while it lasts.
That's right. I'm going to savor every moment on Saturday, every freaking second. All right. First, Coastal Carolina at Arkansas State. The line is -19 to work Coastal Carolina University. The over-under 70.5. I saw today Coastal Carolina. I believe they're 4-1 against the spread so far. Do you think that continues against the Butch Jones Arkansas State Red Wolves?
I do. I think -19 is just not enough. Because Arkansas State's not that good. They're not that good. And Coastal just looks, they're on fire right now. They're killing it. Their defense is starting to finally click. Their offense has been clicking all season. Coastal's going to crush them. It's going by more than 19.
Okay, well, by more than 19. Last week, Coastal covered the over by themselves. Now they got it at 70.5. They're really tempting you here. There's like no way that Coastal scores 70. They're going to keep increasing the number by 10 every week until Coastal stops. I think Coastal covers here. Oh my God. I forgot the pencil. How can I do a podcast without the pencil? Ryan's got a screwdriver. I got a pencil. I'm like Lee Corso. Coastal in a blowout. Coastal plus the points. Take them to win outright. All right. Temple at Cincy. Oh, Lord. Cincy's favored by 29 points. Temple is horrendously awful.
Bad.
They're not as bad as Vanderbilt or Yukon, which was game of the week, people. I don't know if we talked about it in the recap episode. I can't remember. I don't think we did. Did
We
we?
mentioned it. We mentioned, yeah, we did.
Game of the week. Shame on game day not going there. That would have been a real opportunity for everyone. That being said, Timberland Cincy, that's a big number. You think Cincinnati covers it?
I don't know if they would
29 point,
cover
30 points
that.
is a lot of points.
Yeah, I don't think they covered that. That's a lot. I think something's bad. Um, but I also think since he's trying to play a long game now, I think if they get a lead, they'll start putting backups in.
They gotta impress everybody though. They do have to blow people out.
That's true. That's true.
I heard
I
it.
just don't know if it's by 29. I would, since he's going to win.
I
Like
heard an
blowout.
interesting argument. Somebody I follow on Twitter made the point that if it came down to an 11-1 or 12-1, I guess Ohio State, maybe 12-1 because they have to win the Big Ten championship, and an undefeated Cincy, that Ohio State would get in. Like if it came down to those two, I don't think it will.
I believe it.
Do you think Ohio State would get in over Cincinnati, even after that big win against Notre Dame?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it happen before. UCF, they went undefeated 2 years ago.
I feel like this might be a little different just because, I still think Ohio State would get in.
Because then you'll have people saying, "Oh, well, Notre Dame's overrated." It's just this. It's a never-ending cycle. Cincinnati did what they're supposed to do. They should get in, but you have that name.
Like I said, it doesn't
Ohio
matter.
State, who will be playing bigger teams such as Iowa,
Michigan
and
Michigan State,
Exactly.
Michigan, all undefeated at this point. Iowa undefeated, Penn State. I think the Big Ten. I think Ohio State's in a good position. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's going to be hard for them.
One loss was to, and we'll see how Oregon plays out.
Yeah, if Oregon collapses, now that might not be a good look. It all kind of depends on that.
That's another story.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think Ohio State's vulnerable. I mean, yeah, they blew out Rutgers, but they've always blown out Rutgers. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Interesting discussion, though. I think it's one that needs to be had if it came down to those two, which I don't think it will. I don't know what's going to happen. I think they suck. All suck. I think Ohio State's going to drop another one. I think everybody in the Big Ten is going to drop one, just like the Pac-12. I don't know who or when or how. I think they're all going to drop another one. So I think Ohio State finishes 10-2. Michigan might finish 10-2. I could see Iowa finishing 10-2, maybe 9-3. Penn State being 9-3. Cannibalism, man. You know what I mean? Iowa should win their division, though. They have the gift of not being in that other division with all those other, like Michigan State, Ohio, and you can't have all those guys in there. They're going to play each other. They have to.
Yeah.
They're going to beat each other up. That's just how it works. And Ohio State's just not as dominant as they've been in the past. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
All right. Stanford at Arizona State. Minus 10.5. Arizona State's favored. The over-under is 52. Kind of a low over-under there. I would expect more. What is your prediction, Ryan? What do you think is going to happen?
Stanford just seems like it's been such a trap game for everybody. Obviously, Arizona State's prepared for it now. Yeah. They know that Stanford can beat anyone in the Pac-12. And so I think they're ready for it. However, I think Stanford's going to come out and play. I don't think Stanford's a bad team. I think they're pretty decent. I mean, they beat USC and Oregon. Those are great, very talented teams. So I think ASU wins. Sun Devils win, but it's close.
Did you know they beat Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt.
Huh?
Stanford beat Vanderbilt.
Good for them.
Did you know that? At Vanderbilt. They're a good team. I'm going with Arizona State in a blowout. I think the Fighting Herm Edwards are going to show up. I think they're going to knock them. I think they're going to be expecting it. I think they're going to be prepared. And I think the hungry dog does run faster. And at this time, Arizona State is the hungry dog. So I'm going with Arizona State in a blowout. Arizona State, hammer Arizona State. Outright winners. I wouldn't take the points, though. Even though I just said it would blow up. All right. Oklahoma versus Texas. Ryan, the eyes of Texas are now upon you. The line's -3. The over-under 63.5. Very low over-under. I would expect it to be near 70. It has been more of a defensive year for both teams. other than Texas, who have just blown
I'd say it's
everybody
the
out.
opposite. It's like Oklahoma's been defensive and
And
Texas has
Texas
been
has been
offensive.
very offensive.
Their
That's going to
defense
be
has
an
been good.
interesting matchup. It's going to be Texas's offense versus Oklahoma's defense is probably
Yeah.
that should make you nervous. That makes me uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
That's the discussion because Oklahoma's offense has been so feeble.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. What are your thoughts on the game? I want to get your thoughts on it first.
What did you write in the notes?
I just put a fun stat. I'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh, okay. That doesn't mean anything. I guess that is cute.
It's just a fun stat. I believe you put it in there. It's a fun stat.
I can't really compare. As much as it pains me to admit this, the Texas team that you're facing is a lot different from the one we faced.
Yeah.
First of all, we faced them at home, and everybody in the state of Arkansas was in that building. So we're all mad. Oh, they're all mad. So they're screaming their lungs out. They said it was one of the loudest stadiums in college football. Texas couldn't do anything. They started that other Hudson Card, I believe his name was.
Yeah.
He couldn't do anything. We did stop Bijan Robinson pretty strongly, but that's because we knew old Hudson Card wasn't going to do anything. I think you're facing a different beast here because Texas has gotten more confident. People are going to respect them more. And you're facing that other guy who's way more reckless.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do think he's a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone back and forth. Here's what I honestly think is going to happen. I think Oklahoma's going to lose this game. I'm sorry, Ryan. And I think they're going to play again in the Big 12 championship. I think Oklahoma will blow them out. That's what Oklahoma does. That's their MO. That's how they operate.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's just what they do. So I could see them losing this game, especially if the offensive struggles continue. Now, they did play a little bit better against Kansas State. And, I don't really understand why they have offensive struggles. If you could expand on that, I would appreciate it. But
yeah, I think the offensive struggles are coming from the offensive line and the run game. You just can't get it going. Rattler's playing well. He's doing everything that's asked of him. I mean, he's throwing at 70% completion rate. I think he's only thrown, 3 or 4 picks all season, which is not bad.
Especially halfway through.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Rattler. Rattler's playing well. He's doing good. I think it's the offensive line and the run game. The offensive line played a lot better against Kansas State. I agree. But the run game was okay. It was really a one-man run game with Kennedy Brooks. He had 92 yards rushing. But that was it, really. When I look at Oklahoma, Texas, it's always a close struggle. One of the teams could be, 0-5 and the other 5-0, and it would be a 3-point game. That's just how this game is. It's how it always has been. Throughout the entire history of the Oklahoma-Texas matchup, only 3 points is the difference between Texas has scored a field goal more than Oklahoma the entire time they've played each other over the 100 or so years that they've played each other. And over the past 4 matchups, Oklahoma is 3-1 over Texas. They've played 4 times in 3 years. Oklahoma has only scored 24 more points over those 4 games. And it continues to say these matchups are close.
Even when Texas was kind of bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's just always how it is. Like, Texas could have a 5-7 season, which they've had over the past 10 years, and they've beaten Oklahoma in some of those years. That's just how it is. And I think you're right. I think Oklahoma's defense is their strength, and Texas's offense is their strength. We've seen Oklahoma's offense kind of flutter, and we've seen Texas's defense have holes. It is a completely different beast than what Arkansas faced. Hudson Card is a completely different quarterback.
This guy runs a lot more and is a lot more. What's the word? Reckless.
A little creative, let's say that.
Yeah, he definitely takes some shots.
He takes some chances.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good word.
However, Oklahoma's faced that before. That's not really what I'm worried about. The thing Oklahoma has to be worried about is, can they score enough points?
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma has to score 45 points, which they've only done 1 time this entire season against.
And that was against who?
Western Carolina.
Yeah.
Exactly. If they score 45 points, Oklahoma wins this game. I don't think they're going to score 45 points. I think Texas is going to win this game.
No way. You picked? Who'd you pick? You didn't pick anybody in this thing. You picked Texas?
I think
No
Texas is going to
way.
win. It pains me to say, I hope, I plead, I need it to not be so, but I don't feel confident about this game.
You're trying to
If
jinx
Oklahoma,
it.
I mean, I want Texas because I hate Texas, but Oklahoma's offense has not produced enough to win this game.
Well, you had to have some faith in your defense now.
I do, but I also know that Texas is going to score points.
Yeah, they're going to score points. Your defense isn't the greatest in the country, but it's okay.
Exactly. I mean, it's, not the greatest in the country, but, Arkansas, they scored 40, and they beat Texas because they scored 40. You could say
Different circumstances.
they scored less and still won, but still.
We had a hard time stopping that guy at the end of the game. We didn't play for him.
So, I'm not worried about Texas on offense per se. I'm worried about Oklahoma on offense. I don't think Oklahoma can score enough points to fully win this game confidently.
I agree.
Because of that, I think Texas wins. On paper, Oklahoma is more talented on defense, and they're more talented on offense. However, when I'm watching games, Texas' offense is performing better. It's hard. Oklahoma's defense is performing better. Defense wins championships, but offense wins games.
Kind of. I don't know if any more of that's true. Well, this year it is true, actually, because Georgia and Alabama are going to play twice.
Yeah.
Once in the national championship, once in the SEC championship.
This is. If Oklahoma can get everything, if Oklahoma has any shot of winning a championship, which is very slim right now, everything has to start clicking this game, or it's over. So
you're trying to mush yourself.
Mush myself?
Yeah, basically what you're trying to do is jinx it. The double jinx. Or maybe it's the triple jinx.
When I came onto the show, I said I was going to be honest with my picks. When I pick these picks, I'm being honest. I hate that I have to say that I think Texas will win. I'm being honest. This is who I think is going.
I'm going with Oklahoma. I'm going with the Sooners. Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner. Just because you picked Texas, I'm going with Oklahoma.
All right.
That's what I think is going to win. I wasn't sure either. I was going to pick Texas, but then you picked Texas, and now I don't feel comfortable about it.
I really think it's a flip of a coin. Most of these Texas-Oklahoma games are a flip of a coin, to be honest. They're always close.
What time does it start?
12.
Ooh, going to be a busy 12 for both of us.
This game's always at noon.
Really?
Just tradition or something. But
isn't it called? Oh, it's called the Red River Showdown, isn't it?
The Red River Showdown. Yeah.
Is there a river? Is there a river that's red?
It's not. Yeah.
It's probably got clay in it or something.
Yeah. There's the Red River. It's pretty much like between Oklahoma and Texas.
Ooh.
Anyways, I want Texas to lose. I hope they lose. I need them to lose. But my honest pick is Texas.
I'm going with Oklahoma. I think they're going to win the football game. I don't know how.
I hope you're right.
I don't know why. I don't know what their way. I think I'm going to win the football. I can't agree with you on this one. All right. Good luck. I need luck now. Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Now you get to start.
All right. Both teams came off losses.
Yes, Arkansas
two of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, Arkansas had a tough loss against Georgia. Shame. And then, freaking
Ole Miss
got embarrassed and abolished. And what a shame that was. Losers. Arkansas lost with dignity. Ole Miss lost with embarrassment, which is a shame for them, but whatever. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Not here. I think Arkansas comes out a little more fired up. From what I've seen from Sam Pittman, I think that he wants to come back from what happened at Georgia and show them, hey, that was just a little blimp. This is where Arkansas is. I don't think Lane Kiffin just doesn't have the motivational, like it's just this cocky thing. It's not actually motivating. You're just kind of like, Lincoln. All right, cool. I think Arkansas has a better defense. I think Ole Miss has a better offense, but I just didn't. When I was watching the games, like,
Hey, we got to run the ball. Alabama did it.
yeah, I think that Arkansas has a very good shot to beat Ole Miss. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be really close, but I think Arkansas will pull it out like a last second field goal or something like that.
I have no idea what to expect. I hope it's not too terribly close. I don't know. Sam Pittman had a good quote. You probably heard it. He said, Georgia will not cause us to lose to Ole Miss or something like that. It was a great quote.
Yeah.
And if I could find it real fast, I would. But it was something good like that anyway. I think Arkansas, I don't know. Ole Miss, are they going to get up for Arkansas? That's the big question here. Georgia got up for Arkansas. Kirby saw what it was. He said, this is a good opportunity. Arkansas probably isn't on our level, but it's a good opportunity to show how dominant we are. And we're going to get up for this game, and we're going to show them something. We're going to show the nation something. And we got a lot of people going to be tuning in. You know, that was the biggest, like I said, the biggest, most watched college game day. So Kirby got his boys up for that game. He got the Georgia fan base in there. You know, is Ole Miss going to be able to repeat that? I don't think so.
There's difference in fan. Yeah, we're talking Ole Miss and Georgia.
It also hurts me to say it a little bit, but it's Arkansas. So in Ole Miss, they're probably like, you know what I mean? They don't care. What are they? They're like, ugh, Ole Miss fans, bunch of racist. They're just awful, terrible people, just really bad. Anyway, I hate Ole Miss. Houston Nutt used to coach there, Ryan. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah,
Lane Kiffin's gone. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know. I think we need to run the football.
When I look at Ole Miss's offense, I say they're better. But what I mean by they're better,
they haven't really
better. Their running game is, their
passing game's good.
Matt Corral, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country right now.
I think he's good, and I think Alabama showed you that they are stoppable. Ole Miss hadn't played anybody up at this point. They played Tulane, which looked bad, and they played Louisville, who was bad at the beginning of the season. They're a little better now, and who else did they play? They played somebody else goofy. Doesn't matter. They blew them out. They didn't really play anybody until they played Alabama. You know, they haven't even really played any SEC games. That was their first SEC game. So it's hard to say what Ole Miss is or is not. So with that being said, you know, this will be another good test for them. Arkansas had 6 interceptions against them last year. That might motivate them. It was an embarrassing loss for Matt Corral.
It's going to motivate Matt Corral.
Yeah, it'll motivate him. I don't know how much it'll motivate everybody else. It's in Ole Miss. It's 12 o'clock kickoff. If Arkansas can run the football efficiently, which I think they will, Sam Pittman is bringing some offensive line changes. He's got 2 guards he's putting in there this week as starters, both over 350 pounds. So pretty big, hefty men in there. I think they really want to lean on that Ole Miss defensive line. I don't think Ole Miss's defense is that good. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's that good. I think we're going to have opportunity. Ole Miss definitely is facing our defense is better than their defense. That's a fact. I mean, we got a lot more talent, seniors, yada, yada, yada. So they're going to have a harder time with that. This ain't Georgia. Like I told y'all last week, we ain't playing nobody like Georgia again. You know, the environment's not going to be the same. The team's not going to be the same. They're not going to have as much talent as the one we just seen. We played the hardest team in the country last week. That's just a fact. So with that being said, I think Arkansas wins the football game. 6 points. They win by 6 points.
Okay.
They stop Ole Miss and they don't get them. They stop them on 4th and goal at the end of the
game. If you can stop the pass at Ole Miss, you win the game.
Or limit it at least. Alabama was able to do it. Lane Kiffin. That was it's a weird spot because, you know, a lot of times in these games, you don't have 2 teams like this who got blowed out, right? So Arkansas got blowed out and Ole Miss got blowed out. So a lot of times, like in the Stanford Arizona State game, I'm able to say, "Oh, they just saw this happen, so this is going to happen." Or the Ohio State or Rutgers, who are they playing? Michigan State. We're going to talk about that here in a couple minutes. Rutgers got blown out. Michigan State's undefeated. You can maybe see a close game there. That would make sense, right? Because one thing equals another. They kind of have to balance out. You don't know what's going to happen because both of these times got their butts kicked. So there's no like definitive with who's going to respond. I think Arkansas responds well. I do think Arkansas wins the football game. I honestly believe that. I cannot believe that. We're going to learn a lot about them. Now, Texas A&M wasn't good. Texas was different. Georgia was Georgia. I don't think we're a bad football team. I mean, we were able to beat Texas A&M and Texas at the end of the day. We did beat them. No matter what people say, oh, Texas A&M, a fluke, no good. Texas been playing, whatever. We did beat them. We blew Texas out, and we honestly A&M wasn't competitive because their offense is so terrible, and we were able to shut them down. Our defense is solid, so we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful.
It's gonna be a fun game. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Ugh, you won't be watching. You'll be watching the other one.
It'll just be on my laptop or something.
Yeah, it'll be kind of like you look down every 10 seconds to see if Arkansas scores or something like that. Like I said, we faced the best the best cornerbacks, the best safeties. Other than Alabama, I still think Georgia's better. I mean, we faced it all. I mean, the one thing I hate to keep beating this Georgia drum, but Georgia has Darion Kendrick, ex-Clemson Tiger, as a cornerback. He's honestly one of the worst pieces of their defense, and he's still very good.
Yeah.
He's not that great. He would start on most teams in the SEC. And he's probably like, if there's 11 players on defense, he's probably like the 8th best player on their defense.
He's the only player on their entire team who has won a national championship.
Well, duh. That seems like, well, that makes, duh. All right. Enough about Arkansas. I think they win the football game. You're picking us, right? You're picking Arkansas?
Picking Arkansas.
All right, Maryland at Ohio State. This is a good example. I think this is a bounce back. This is a good example of what I was just trying to say. Maryland got blown out by Iowa. They're at Ohio State, who just blew out Rutgers. You would think there would be a little balance here, and I think there will be. I'm predicting Ohio State wins it close. The line's minus 21 toward Ohio State, over under 68.5. I could see a little bounce back here for Maryland. They ain't winning, but they cover. Yeah. You don't think so?
No. I think that Talia Tagovailoa got exposed as a fraud. I don't think he's that good. I thought he was.
Iowa's defense is very good.
Not that good.
No, they're very. Now their offense is stinky, and I don't think it's very good. But the Iowa's defense is solid, like really solid.
Solid.
They have the steel curtain there.
It's not
the Hawkeye curtain.
Good. That's just bad quarterbacking.
Well,
I think, and when you look at like who Maryland's played, it's not great.
They beat Rutgers, I think.
I don't think so.
They beat Syracuse.
Maryland?
No, who did they beat? They beat somebody.
Maryland's played Kent State, Illinois, Howard, and West Virginia.
They did beat West Virginia. West Virginia had okay defense.
They beat West Virginia. However, Ohio State is going to beat them. And beat them. I don't know if they're going to beat them as convincingly as they beat Rutgers, but they will beat them big.
I'm going with Maryland, but close. Maryland, but close.
Do you think Maryland's going to win?
No, God, no. Maryland does cover, though. They do cover.
Okay, they cover. Okay.
Yeah, Michigan State at Rutgers. Line's -5 toward Michigan State. That's low. That's a rat line right there if I've ever seen one. Woof. This is another good example, like I just mentioned. Michigan State undefeated, going into an environment where Rutgers just got the crap beat out of them. I actually picked Rutgers to over-unders 50.5. I picked Rutgers to win the football game. I think they've got to go in. This is a trap game for Michigan State if I've ever seen one.
I agree. It's a trap game. However, I think that Michigan State wins. Michigan State's looked pretty good. Not great, but good. And Rutgers has looked good except when they play like good opponents. They lost to Michigan. It was close. That gave me hope. And they just got destroyed by Ohio State. And that's uh, I've lost confidence in the Scarlet Knights. I think Michigan State wins. I don't know if it'll be close or not, but I think the Spartans win.
Rutgers woke up this morning, got some gabagoo. And I woke up the next day and got some more gabagoo. All right, there you go. All right. Man of honor. I'm wearing the jersey tonight. I didn't want to beat a dead horse with Arkansas, so I've always been wearing that jersey a lot. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit. All right. South Carolina Gamecocks, Shane Beamer at Tennessee. The line is -10.5 toward Tennessee. The over-under is 53. Ron, you want to go first?
Sure. This is one of those weird games. Like, is Tennessee that good or is Missouri that bad? Because Tennessee crushed Missouri. I do think that Tennessee has the better coaching. I know I'm probably get flack for that, but
you shouldn't.
Heupel's been there. He's coached around. He had some great seasons at UCF. He was the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma for several years. He's good. With South Carolina, I think South Carolina on paper is more talented in terms of player personnel. However, Harris isn't. He's not hitting things. He's not in stride, and that's if Kevin Harris was playing like he was playing last year, I think South Carolina wins this game.
Yeah, I don't know what's his problem. He must be hurt or something.
He must be hurt. Whatever's going on, he is not playing to how he was last year. I don't think Doty can win a game all by himself against an SEC opponent just yet. I think he's young, he can grow, but at this time, I don't think it's going to happen. Tennessee's going to throw the ball. They're going to throw the ball, and South Carolina's weakness is that secondary. Defensive line is good. South Carolina's got a good defensive line, but that secondary is leaky. Because of that, I think Tennessee wins it, but it's going to be close.
No way. I hate to do this. I am a man of honor. I'm repping the South Carolina jersey. But they're gonna get their crap smacked. They're gonna get smacked. They're gonna go into Tennessee. There's gonna be 100-something thousand people in there screaming at them. They could barely beat Troy at home. They're bad, man. They are not good. They're just not, man. They're not a good football team. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I used to be a South Carolina hater, I really was, for a long time. I used to really hate South Carolina, and I still kind of do. Nah, not as much as I used to. I try to be balanced now that we have this podcast. They're just not good. First of all, the play calling is bad. Your quarterback is afraid to get hurt again, so he's not playing up to his full potential. You played like crap against Kentucky and Troy. Troy? Defense is okay. The offensive play calling is horrendous. The defense, like I said, is okay. See, the thing with these coaches, right? Shane Beamer, Sam Pittman, Dabo Swinney. What do they all have in common, Ryan?
What was the last one you cut? I'm sorry.
Dabo Swinney, Sam Pittman, and Shane Beamer. What do they all have in common?
I think they're just like management pet boys, pretty much.
Exactly. So when Dabo Swinney got to Clemson, what did he do? He hired Chad Morris. He brought on Brett Venables. You got to know what you're good at. What did Sam Pittman do? He brought on Kendall Briles. He brought on Barry Odom. Who the heck is South Carolina? They're not good, man. When you're a game manager and you're a guy like Shane Beamer, I know he's an ex-Oklahoma guy, so I'm not trying to bash him too hard. You got to bring people in that know what they're doing. First of all, he almost kept Mike Bobo. He should be thinking to his prayers. He could have hired anybody in the country could have been better than Mike Bobo. He's the worst. I mean, you can look at Auburn. The play calling at Auburn is horrendous. Thank God Bo Nix is a roller coaster. You lose to Georgia State one day and
They beat Georgia State. They beat Georgia State.
Almost lose. And he got benched. Yeah, that's Auburn. South Carolina's not good. They couldn't capitalize on the turnovers versus Kentucky. The offensive line is bad. The wide receivers are bad. Josh Van's their only good wide receiver. The running game has collapsed for whatever reason, probably because the offensive line's bad. And Luke Doty got hurt in fall camp and hasn't been the same since. And Tennessee, pretty healthy, looked good against Florida. They were 20 seconds away from actually tying it in the second half, in the beginning of the second half, or coming close to him, becoming like 3 points or something like that. They blow out Missouri. South Carolina ain't blowing out Missouri. Stop, please. No, South Tennessee in a blowout. No way. Now, if I come in here on Monday and I see that they beat Tennessee in Tennessee, I'll eat as much crow as possible. But what they have proven on the field so far is not good. They lost not good. They've beaten 3 lackluster teams. This ain't East Carolina no more. Even though you're in the SEC East, and I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just telling you what I see. I probably get slack too. I just tell you what I see, man. I try to look through it a pair of unbiased eyes. Of course, I don't like Carolina that much, but I do try to be a little more unbiased because of the podcast, because we're trying to produce content. I don't think it's going to be good. I think Tennessee's going to put it to them. They got more creative offensive minds, better talent on the offensive side of the ball. They run the ball well. I get Troy had a good defense, but man, that's bad. You got to be better than that. Hey, listen, Arkansas was there for a couple years. We lost to crappy teams, but I acknowledge we were a bad football team. We were terrible.
And I think once Shane Beamer starts, the coordinators that are at South Carolina right now will not be the South coordinators in 2-3 years.
I don't think they'll be in year. I don't think they'll be here next year. They'll probably have new ones.
I
think that offseason was weird because he had Mike Bobo, and then he hired some guy from Tennessee. I don't know if you remember this. He hired some guy from Tennessee, and that guy accepted the job and then immediately went to Auburn. That wasn't Mike Bobo. That was somebody else. I don't remember that guy.
He definitely had trouble filling that offensive line or offensive coordinator position, especially because he was going to keep Mike Bobo, which was stupid. I'm glad because Mike Bobo was just like, screw this, I'm not the head coach. I'm going to Auburn. I'll be the head coach in probably 2 years or something like that, which is stupid for Auburn to do that. But it's just once he starts getting coordinators in there, he's already recruiting. He's getting some good recruits. Like South Carolina's recruiting has gone up since Muschamp. Now it's time to get their coordinators to develop and call some defense.
You're not the guy, he's a game manager. Like Sam Pittman ain't the guy. Yeah, he ain't no Lincoln Riley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
when you have a coach like this, like Lincoln Riley is the offensive coordinator. Oklahoma does not have an offensive coordinator. It's Lincoln Riley. It's our head coach.
You could say the same with Florida's got Dan Mullen. Georgia has Kirby Smart for the defensive side of the ball, but still.
Yeah, and if that was when he was calling offensive plays, it'd be a disaster. It's just not what you want. You don't want that. I mean, former wide receivers coach, whatever, but you don't want him as an offensive coordinator. He's a game manager.
Exactly.
And you gotta build around that. So South Carolina.
Not there yet. Tennessee big. Georgia versus Auburn. 14.5, Georgia, over under 45. Ryan, what do you think?
I think it'll be a fun game. I'm really interested to see how it'll play out. It's in Auburn, which is, a pro for Auburn. Good for them, They just came off a good win. Auburn is not as good. I don't know what people think about Auburn. They're not.
I don't know what anyway. What can you think? What do you?
They're just cold. Some games Bo Nix looks like Johnny Manziel. Other games he's getting benched for TJ Finley, who was a washout at LSU. The defense at Auburn is above average at best, below average at worst. Georgia is Georgia. Like Georgia's just going to curb stomp everyone they face until they play Alabama. Maybe Florida. I don't know.
No.
I don't know about that. But Georgia wins. They're going to win big. Auburn's, they don't have a chance.
Right. Georgia big. I talked myself into it. I originally wrote Georgia close, but the more this podcast is going on, I think Georgia's going to blow them out. They don't stand a chance. All right, Boise State at BYU. BYU minus 5.5 over under 55. Ryan, what do you think?
I think BYU is sneakily a very good team. How good? Not really sure just yet. They did beat Arizona State. They beat Utah State. They beat Utah. Three good teams consistently. Utah State, decent team in the mountains, but they're winning games. And Boise State's kind of been meh this year. They've had some games where they've been in it against good teams like Oklahoma State, but then they just fall apart. I think BYU wins, maybe by 2 touchdowns. But I think BYU's legit. I think they're a pretty good team. And if Cincinnati loses, it'll be interesting.
All right, I'm going with BYU. Yeah, I'm going with BYU. Good football team. Won't make the playoff, but good football team. Wake Forest at Syracuse. Wake Forest favored by 6.5 points. Over under 56. Could be a trap game for Wake Forest. I'm still going with the Demon Deacons. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what Wake Forest is doing right now is only temporary. They're the only undefeated team left in the ACC. That will not last. It will not happen against Syracuse, though. I think they will beat Syracuse, but when you start looking down the line, Wake Forest is going to struggle. They got to play UNC. They got to play NC State. They got to play Boston College. Got to play Clemson. It's going to struggle. I think Wake Forest does beat Syracuse. The Syracuse's offense is just abysmal. It's disgustingly bad. Worse than Clemson. Like, it is bad. But Wake Forest wins.
If there's anybody who I would have win that Coast Atlantic division. What's the one that Clemson's in? They share the same one with Wake Forest. What is it?
It comes to the Atlantic. Yeah,
okay. If there was anybody who could win the Atlantic division other than Clemson, I would have a big Wake Forest in a heartbeat. That'd be awesome. I would do anything to live in a world where Wake Forest is ACC champion. I don't know if it'll happen.
07.
I wasn't a football fan then. That was before my time. Not before I was alive, but
It's a Georgia Bowl.
All right, here's another big one for you. Probably the last big one we have on the thing. Penn State at Iowa. Yeah. Me and you were very confused about this game. I'm only going with Iowa because of the fact that it's in Iowa. I think that matters. Is it a night game or a day game? Fox loves their day games, so it's probably
4 o'clock.
At 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. It's
Fox is the worst.
I don't know. I think Iowa's been tested more than Penn State. Because we all see it. The Penn State's big game was against Wisconsin, right? We all thought Wisconsin was happy.
And Auburn.
And Auburn, yeah. But
well, like I said, we don't know what that means. Who knows? Yeah. I think they would have lost that game if it was in Auburn.
I'm taking Iowa just because I do agree. I think they have a good defense. I don't think it's a great defense, but I think it's a good defense. They always put a bunch of farm boys out on the defense and have kind of good success. That's how you do it in the Midwest, really. So I think Iowa does win it. I mean, this is just a weird game. I really don't feel like either team has really been tested. Because Iowa played Iowa State. We thought that was a big game, and it turned out Iowa State sucks. And Iowa played Maryland. We thought Maryland was going to be decent. Apparently, Maryland sucks. We just don't know. And but I think Iowa wins at home. I think they have a better defense. I think both offenses suck. I don't think either team has a good offense.
Yeah, I think Iowa wins mainly defensive game. What would I say? The over one's 41.5. Ooh, boy. Oh, that'd be tough. I would go under. All right, Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. The line is -1.5 for Notre Dame. Over under is 47. Is this a night game?
7:30. Yep.
I'm
In
going
Blacksburg. In Blacksburg. I'll go while you think about it. So Blacksburg is just, it's probably one of the top three
especially
best
at night, man. It's
players
tough.
in the ACC. It's a night game. Virginia Tech's going to show up for this game. The fans, at least. I don't know about the team, but Virginia Tech has a decent defense. Their offense is okay. I'm picking Virginia Tech solely because it's in Blacksburg. That's the only reason I'm picking it. Notre Dame apparently is sticking with Jack Cohn, which is stupid.
Oh no!
And I just
go with Pine.
I
Pine over Cone.
I think I agree, but I think Virginia Tech will win this game. Who knows? Maybe I'm back on the hate Virginia Tech train too soon, but
Virginia Tech because it's Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech at home at night, sandstorm, the whole thing. I'm going with Virginia Tech. All right, Michigan at Nebraska. Michigan's favored by 3. The over-under is 52. I am going with the Corn Huskers. What time is this game?
So 7:30 as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with the Corn Huskers. They're going to be up for this. Scott Frost, big crowd, Jim Harbaugh, 100-something thousand people in that stadium. The whole state. Yeah, I know the whole state of Nebraska is going to be in that stadium.
I don't have 100,000.
Oh, I thought they don't. What do they have?
80-something.
They should have 100,000 if they think they're a top-tier football program. I'm going with Nebraska. What do you think? Do you think Michigan or Nebraska?
I think Michigan. I got a lot of good warm and fuzzies with Michigan right now. Their defense is playing very well. Offense is playing well enough. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think there'll be a lot of scoring. Both teams' defense has kind of come out and played. Nebraska held Northwestern, who's a bad team, but they held Northwestern to 7 points in the last game. But I think Michigan wins in a close
one. Yeah, there you go. Here's a game I didn't even think we needed to put on here. Bama at Texas A&M. Line's minus 17.5. Over under 51.5. Bama is going to cover the 17.5. Bama might hit the 51. Texas A&M's defense isn't as good as we all thought it was. Their offense is abysmal. How many points they score against Ole Miss? Bama? Yeah.
Bama, 42.
45 or 42? Doesn't matter. Bama big.
Yeah, I agree. Bama big. Yeah, I honestly don't think a lot of fans are going to show up at Kyle Field. It's in Texas A&M. It's in Texas.
Is Jimbo on the hot seat, Ryan?
If they lose this game, which I think they will, big time.
Oh, he is on the way. No, they will lose this game. I can confirm that. You can send it. Texas A&M getting a lot of heat on Twitter today. They're weird. They're a weird group of people out there.
Yeah,
real weird.
Got to figure this out before Texas and Oklahoma come. Because once that happens, A&M's nothing again.
Ugh, this is not good for Texas A&M. Bad times in Aggie land. Shame. Utah versus USC. The line is 3.5 for USC. The over-under 52 is in USC, I assume.
Yep.
You're going with USC?
I'm going with USC. I mean,
they still starting that one guy?
Keaton
Slovis?
I think so. I think the other guy's hurt.
Yeah, Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, Anakin Skywalker's hurt.
I still go with USC.
I agree. I think
Utah's done played themselves out of the picture. Yeah. So, and I see you have UMass versus Yukon. That's disgusting.
Game of the century.
All right, I'm gonna do the lines here, and then we'll be done. So, I should have pulled it up on my phone. Ryan, run interference for me while I pull this up on my phone real fast.
You want to talk about UMass Yukon?
No, I want to talk about. No, we'll talk about that in a second. Ryan, this is a real question for you, and I want an honest answer. Please give me one. Do you think that Urban Meyer was grinding on that woman for a chance to get the USC job? So if any of you don't know why I pull this up on my phone, I'm pulling it up on my phone. I've got all the lines here if anybody has any questions. Urban Meyer was caught after the team played Cincinnati, Ohio, played the Bengals. The Jacksonville Jaguars played the Bengals. They lost. There are Jaguars 0-4. Urban Meyer goes to a bar in Ohio after the team heads home. The team is heading home. He doesn't go with them. He has his kids. He uses the excuse that his kids are in, Ohio and grandkids, all that crap. He then goes to a bar and has a nice woman, a great woman. I'm sure she's fine, fine woman, grinding all up on him, all over him. You know how it is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up on the internet. I don't even know what to say. I'm just shocked. And when I think about it, it's just crazy. Anyway, she's grinding up all over him. The video gets out. Shocker. He's drunk at a bar. He comes out and apologizes. Kind of. He takes all the position. He cancels the team meeting on Monday. Apologizes to each group specifically. And that makes him look even worse. And then the owner comes out and says Urban Meyer's lost all his integrity or something. And then, oh my God, this is terrible. And then he apologized today in a team meeting. Today's Wednesday, October 6th. That's when we record. So Ryan, do you think he did all that just to get the USC job, or do you think he's just an idiot?
Maybe a bit of both. Obviously, there's got to be some enticement for him to go to USC. I mean, he struggled in the NFL. He even said that every game is like playing Bama. It is. Every game is tough. You're not going to blow out Purdue every single week.
Poor Purdue. That was a shot.
Obviously, going back, if he wants to keep coaching, I don't think it's the NFL for him. Like at max, he lasts 2 years. That's if he wants to stick it out. If he really wants to get back into the college game, USC is the perfect opportunity. And he's done Ohio State, he's done Florida. This is the next big step. This is the next big opening. They're in a good position. They got a lot of good.
He would have them turn around in 2 or 3 years.
He could do it in 1 year.
Probably could.
He did
it. Skywalker. If Anakin Skywalker stays healthy.
Ohio State went from 6-6 to 12-0 in one season under Urban Meyer. And Urban Meyer was not head coach in that 6-6 season. He was the head coach in that 12-0 season.
Yeah, Luke Fickell was. I remember. Exactly. Braxton Miller was the quarterback.
Yeah.
Good times.
If Urban Meyer wants to stay a head coach at a high level and win, let's go to USC.
Right.
But
what a doofus that guy is. What are you grinding on those girls for? Lord have mercy. Have a little respect for yourself. All right. Coastal plays tomorrow. I didn't know that. That's fun. So does Stanford, Arizona State. They play on Friday. That's exciting. Oh man, the 12 o'clock slate is heavy. Jesus, the 12 o'clock slate is heavy. Arkansas, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Texas, Maryland, Ohio State, Michigan State, Rutgers, South Carolina, Tennessee, Baylor, West Virginia, Akron versus Bowling Green, Duke, Georgia Tech versus Duke. I'm just looking at all the 12 o'clock games for week 6. All right, I'm just going to go through some of these real fast and see if there's anything that catches my eye that we didn't talk about. SMU still undefeated. Good football team.
Yeah.
They're favored by 13.5. My cousin at the game, I was talking to him about the game. He goes to Louisiana Tech at the game where they caught a Hail Mary and beat him.
Wow.
Yeah, I told him I asked him how he was. He said he doesn't remember it. Florida State versus North Carolina. Ooh, gross. Here's another gross one for you. Oh, man. Wisconsin versus Illinois. Ooh, God. Let me see if that's what the line is there for that. Let me see if I can find that real fast on my computer. That's nasty. The over-under. What's the line? It's the over-under is 42. Oh, Lord. Ugh. Yukon versus Umass. This is the one I was looking for. Yukon is favored. I think Yukon wins. I'm hammering Yukon. Hammer Yukon money line. to win the football game. Over under 57. Oh my God, I love that so much. Hammer UConn to win the football. Hammer, hammer, hammer the Huskies to win the football game. Hammer them. Especially after last week, they were very competitive against Vanderbilt. I'd like to
Yeah,
buy a
I mean,
ticket to go to
I
that
think
football game.
UConn's finally UConn's finally in for a win.
Oh man, this is awesome.
I mean, UMass is not good.
I might title this video as UConn finally is UConn finally going to get their big win against Vanderbilt. I mean, UMass.
Yeah.
That'll really bring people in.
Yeah, I think I actually missed another game on here. I should have included the original, but LSU and Kentucky.
I think
Probably
Kentucky wins. It's at Kentucky, right?
At Kentucky's favored by 3.5.
Yeah, I don't think LSU's any good.
Yeah, I think Kentucky wins.
Yeah, Ed Ogeron, he'd need a miracle at this point to save himself. Kentucky's favored by 3.5 at Kentucky, night game. He could be a little hangover after Florida win, but I feel like Kentucky's in a point where that could be possible. But then again, if you look at it from a different perspective, they finally got something going, so maybe they're going to take things a little more seriously. So probably both ways you can look at that. Let me see. There doesn't seem like you no. You did a good job. We covered most of the big games. There's nothing really here that I see that we missed. Nothing of important note, at least. I don't think. Let me go through it one more time. And I think we're good to go. Wow. Great job, Ryan. You really pinpointed all the big ends. You always do a great job, so it's not surprising. That's it. Ryan, are we confident? How do we feel going into this week? A little nervous. I'm not as nervous as I was.
I think we're both a little nervous for our respective.
I was nervous last week. I'm not that nervous this week. It is what it is at this point.
I'm nervous.
I'm happy.
So what happens?
Yeah, this is probably a good one for you to be nervous for. See, I'm not that nervous because, I'm just kind of like rolling with the flow at this point, is what it is. We'll win or lose. We're making money at this point. We're ranked 13th in the country. Most people have us as the third best team in the SEC. If you would have told me that at the beginning of the season, I would have slapped you. I would have told you we would be lucky to get out the win versus Georgia Southern. Turns out I don't know anything.
You were telling me preseason that you thought that you had a chance to beat Texas.
A chance. We blew them out. I didn't think we had a chance to beat A&M. I thought what was going to happen, we were going to lose to Georgia Southern and then go in and try to beat A&M, and then we'd lose again. That's what old Arkansas would have done.
You predicted A&M to win the SEC.
Lord. I could have never imagined how bad their quarterbacks would be. One broke his leg and the other one is just – how do you do that? I mean, Clemson's quarterback, Clemson has kind of an excuse. Jimbo ain't got no excuse, man. You got to bring somebody in better than Zach Calzada and Haynes King. Come on, man. What are you doing? All right, that's the end of the episode.
5-star recruits, so.
Yeah, they were? Well, they were bad. They were a bust. As in NCAA 14 said, this is a certified bust. All right. Ryan, any last thoughts? Boomer Sooner?
Decided for the weekend. Yeah, Boomer Sooner.
Ryan, I would like to say one last thing. If Oklahoma loses, you will see the gif of the Boomer Sooner wagon falling at least 20 times on Twitter. That's a fact.
I'm sure I will.
All right. Thank you all. God bless. May God bless your families. Blue Pig.
Boomer Sooner.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the YouTube version of the TNR Sports Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tune in every Friday and Monday for a new episode of the TNR Sports Show. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check out our other videos from the preseason or anything of that nature. And make sure you just share with your friends. I would really appreciate that as well. But again, thank you for watching the TNR Sports Show, Monday or Friday edition.